Well, thank you all for making it here this evening at the National Press Club. This is a very special evening for us here at the National Press Club, as tonight is the presentation of our Freedom of the Press Awards, which is one of the highlight of the year for the club and its mission of speaking out for press freedom and encouraging a freer press both in the United States and worldwide. My name is Bjerga. I'm the president of the National Press Club. I'm pleased to be here tonight to present the 2010 John Aubuchon Press Freedom Awards. The award is named after John Aubuchon, who was president of the National Press Club in 2002. He passed away the following year. This award is meant to honor people who have done their utmost to advance the cause of press freedom and open government. In that spirit, every year the Press Club honors one domestic and one foreign winner of this award. The selection is done by our Freedom of the Press Committee, which this year was ably led by John Hughes of Congressional Quarterly. John Donnelly of Congressional Quarterly and John Hughes of Bloomberg News. Thinking about Bloomberg all the time is the first word, and when both of your chairs are named John and the award is named for someone named John, it's hard to get the other, it's easy to mess up the other variables. But would like to thank John Donnelly and John Hughes for their work this year in putting this award. So before we give the awardees, let's give them a round of applause. And now on to our awardees. Our first honor this evening is given to Charles Davis. This honor for the Domestic Freedom of the Press Award often goes to a reporter who has produced excellent work in the face of adversity. But that's not the only way to serve the cause. Some contribute by pushing for reforms that open the portals of government and industry to the press, or they just pound repeatedly on those doors until someone opens them up. The domestic winner of our Press Freedom Award this year is a University of Missouri journalism professor whose name is well known in the circles of those who care about shedding sunlight on the workings of government at all levels. Some say that Charles Davis has done as much as anyone to illuminate what many in power would like to keep hidden from the press and the public. From 2005 until this year, Davis led the National Freedom of Information Coalition, an organization that is headquartered at the Missouri Journalism School that funds open government groups across the country. Earlier this year, he co-wrote the book, The Art of Access, Practical Strategies for Acquiring Public Records, one of many scholarly works that he's done that has complemented his work done as a journalist. We at the National Press Club are not the first to recognize this former reporter's contributions outside the newsroom. He's already won the Sunshine Award from the Society of Professional Journalists and the National Journalism Teacher of the Year from the Scripps Howard Foundation, but we are thrilled to add to the chorus that sings his praises. Charles Davis is always talked about as a class act, personable and professional to the core, and it is with great honor that we present our domestic John Aubuchon Freedom of the Press Award this year to Charles Davis.
Wow, thank you. This is quite the honor, and I wish to recognize a couple of people who clearly made this possible. First of all, my dean, whose name is Dean, by the way. No, it gets a little confusing. Dean Mills, which people always think I've made a mistake when I say that, but that's his name. He hired me about 11 years ago and said, we'd love it if you would work in the Freedom of Information Center. I had worked in Freedom of Information as a PhD student and as a young professor before coming to Missouri, and so he sort of gave me a place to play and room to do the work that I do, which when people ask me what I do, I tell them I really have a dream job. I get up in the morning and I make trouble. That's largely what I do. I get emails, I get phone calls from reporters around the country who are jammed up trying to get information out of tin-pot dictators across the country. And I go to work making their lives miserable. And it's so much fun, as you can imagine, because I don't have deadlines anymore. I was a reporter before I went back to school. So I don't really have deadlines anymore. I just have phone calls to return and emails to return. And most of them involve bedeviling people who are bent on secrecy, which for a guy like me is heaven. So first of all, I would like to get up here and tell stories about, the toil and the woe, but my job is a joy. It's not even a job, it's fun. In fact, I try to sort of share that with budding reporters and mid-career reporters and late-career reporters who have really had it with the runaround and the stonewalling. And I try to remind them that it's a game. They have the information. They're trying to keep it from you. If you keep it gamesmanship, it's such fun. If you make it about sort of the toil and the anger and the repression, it can get very negative. But I like to call those public officials, be just as civil as I can be, and then in polite terms remind them that I am never, ever going away. And that the exemption doesn't cover that record because I've read it and I'm not an idiot. And I'll be back tomorrow, and I'll be back the day after that, and I'll be back the day after that. If you think about it, my job in academia is no different than many of your jobs in the press, only you're on the front line. I'm just support, right? I'm just here to help. For that, I think that's why this honor means so much to me, because it's coming from the National Press Club. These are the people that I work for. When people ask what I do, I would like to be able to say, I help journalists, because that's my job. And so it is just with tremendous honor that I accept this. Thank you very much.
The international winner of this year's award is Kouhyar Gourdarzi, an Iranian blogger who is active in the Committee of Human Rights Reporters, a group that seeks to promote human rights in Iran. Mr. Goudarzi could not be with us tonight. That is because he is being held in prison in Iran, a system in which journalists die, including Iranian-Canadian photojournalist Zahra Kazemi, whom we honored posthumously with this award in 2004 after she died of a brain hemorrhage which resulted from a beating while behind bars. We at the National Press Club have given posthumous awards for press freedom to several journalists, and we hope, of course, to someday live in a world where we never need to again. We fervently pray that Goudarzi is safe and that he will soon have the freedom that he deserves and that we demand. He's been locked up since December 2009, charged with heresy, which is a capital crime, propagating against the regime, and congregation and mutiny with intent to disrupt national security. He was reportedly put into solitary confinement last May, and his mother has said she is no longer allowed to visit him. We are lucky enough, however, this evening to have a letter from his mother, which reads, in part, "With greetings and gratitude for granting the National Press Club's Freedom Award to my son, Kouhyar Goudarzi, I would like you to know that bestowing the John Aubuchon Award on Kouhyar is a great honor to me and an encouragement for all mothers of Iranian political prisoners. It is pleasing to know that the charges levied against our children in their own country for which they have been imprisoned, charges such as human rights work, fighting for the right to higher education, free speech, free press, rights of child labor, campaign against the death penalty, civil and citizenship rights, are not charges, but causes of encouragement and applause in other countries. On behalf of Kouhyar and myself, I dedicate this award to the green and great nation of Iran, to Argentinian mothers, Palestinian mothers, patient mothers of Iran. I am certain that the green and noble people of Iran, with perseverance and endurance, will achieve all their legitimate demands, and that day will come. Since my son remains in prison at this time, I hope someday he'd be able to receive his prize in person. With greetings to all free people of the world, with much respect and gratitude, Parvin Mokhtari, mother of Kouhyar Goudarzi." And this is his award. We honor Goudarzi tonight not because he is a famous prisoner, but because he is one of many of whom the world does not speak of enough. We honor him not only because his case is unique, but also because it is one of far too many in Iran and elsewhere. One of the reasons the club's Press Freedom Committee chose to award Goudarzi is to spotlight that Iran is now neck and neck with China in the race to the bottom as the world's top jailer of journalists. The Iranian government has augmented its incarcerations of reporters after the unrest that followed Iran's disputed presidential elections in June 2009. As recently as last week, it arrested Nazanin Khosravani, a veteran journalist with reformist newspapers. It has also censored or shut down numerous publications and websites. And so tonight we call upon Iranian President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad to stop cracking down on the press in Iran and to free Kouhyar Goudarzi and the other nearly 24 journalists now held in Iranian prisons, just as we call for freedom for the scores of other reporters held around the world. We look forward to the day, which we hope will come soon, when, as his mother wishes, we may present this award to Kouhyar Goudarzi in person. Until then, we'd like to point out that by honoring Charles Davis and Kouhyar Goudarzi, we want people to see the importance of fighting for press freedom and open government in this country and elsewhere, whether the threats come in the form of U.S. reporters being forced to divulge anonymous sources in court, or an Iranian blogger confined on trumped-up charges. With that, we hope you will all help us to keep shining light in our world's dark places. Thank you for being here this evening.